My name is Lady Winnie Allison. I am coming to you today from the United States, from the US. Thank you for attending. Thank you for coming today. I have a few updates I'd like to share with you. First off, I want to thank all my new friends or fans. I appreciate you being available at these odd hours. Sometimes sometimes the scheduling doesn't allow for me to come consistently every day, but I'm working on a stable, steady day-to-day activity for us. So we will likely get to that space with time. But for now, work with me. We'll get there. Today is the 2nd of May, 2026. Viabakama, we demand DR forms. I posted something about the Constitution today, the article that talks about the legitimacy of a presidency after an election, something to do with DR forms. So I want to read that to you. I understand Museveni is gearing up for swearing in. If he does, when he does, we want him to honor the Constitution. So according to the Ugandan Constitution, with regards to the declaration of results form or DR forms, no forms or no results to adjudicate, no forms to adjudicate the results means no swearing in. I know Museveni has always bulldozed us into doing things the way he wants to. But at this time, the Constitution, as it has always said, this is the first time Museveni doesn't have DR forms. And that is because His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu was more prepared this time, more than ever before. All the foot soldiers, all of the polling station attendees did what they rightfully were supposed to do. They took care of their forms. They took them off scene. Therefore, Museveni has no forms or DR forms to rely on. So according to the Ugandan Constitution, Article 103, the article outlines the general process of the election of a president, stating that a candidate must obtain more than 50% of valid votes to be declared elected. Clause 7 especially empowers the Electoral Commission to ascertain, publish, and declare results. In the Presidential Elections Act, Section 51 and 59. So, according to the Constitution of Uganda, by now, in fact, on the date Byabakama read the results of the presidential election, he was supposed to have DR forms that clearly state the electoral results, and they should be published and gazetted in public where anyone can reference, because many of us know that right now the Electoral Commission website does not have the DR forms that Byabakama claims to have gotten the results. I continue to read. The detailed procedure for using Declaration of Results or DR forms is governed by the Act Section 51, which requires every presiding officer at polling stations to fill out prescribed forms for the Declaration of Results. So every polling agent, an agent who would then feed results to the Electoral Commission, was supposed to collect DR forms with the right results and send them to be published or read by Byabakama. Section 59 details the declaration of results and refers back to Article 103 of the Constitution for the final winner criteria. The final winner criteria is that Byabakama is supposed to release DR forms to support his win or his announcement or pronouncement of Museveni's acclaimed win, which we know in Uganda that when Byabakama went on to read the results, There are videos that captured Byabakama's screen on the computer, which timestamp the time that Byabakama, the chairman of Electoral Commission, the time that Byabakama read the results is time-stamped on the video that is reporting what the screen was showing. So Byabakama cannot say or come out of nowhere and present certain numbers or paperwork or results, because there's something called a timestamp. You see, when you watch surveillance videos, or let's say for people like me in the business that I do, I have to enter data in a system. And that system, for example, let's use Facebook, okay? Anytime you post something, there is a certain time that is marked alongside the time you post anything. On Facebook, even WhatsApp, when you send a message, you have a time, what is called a timestamp. A timestamp will show exactly the minute, the second, the time something was shared or published, or whenever it went public. So, in the video that Byabakama announces, where his voice is caught live and the screen is captured of him reading the result, at the very moment the computer screen timing states that he read the wrong results, because the cameras from the back looked on his screen or captured on his screen the actual results that were fed in the system, which results presented His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu as the winner of the election on January 15th, 2026, this very year. So share this as much as possible. The camera that was behind Byabakama that could capture his voice, his picture, or his photograph, and the screen that he was reading from, that camera has a timestamp that matches the moment that he read those results. It is also easy to prove that that exact result that he swapped and gave Museveni, His Excellency Kyagulanyi's result, there is, at that moment, the photograph of His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, and the percentage of the score is clearly showing that Byabakama read His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's results and named it Museveni intentionally, on purpose. There was no mistake, because there was only 2 actual competitors in this election. Forget about these other Mugisha Muntu and all. So on the timestamp, on the computer, in the voice, on TV, so the results were published on several avenues. The journalists who were there, the people, the tech guys who were able to pull those videos immediately when he was reading them, they were being live fed on other screens everywhere else. So the results on the screen match the time on the news or the time of the event, the voice of Byabakama, his physical being right there, the stamp on the screen. All these things adjudicate to the fact that Byabakama read His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's results and labeled them Museveni's results, and then gave Museveni's results to His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. That is the reason why once he read the results, he had to leave immediately, because he knew that he had made a mistake or he had done something wrong. But I understand the day before he was to declare the results, and this is no excuse, he was under gunpoint to release at the interest of the Museveni's people. So Museveni's interest was to read out Kyagulanyi's win for him, because he knew he was not going to win this election, which he never did. So Museveni's results, okay? Let me try to find it so I can share it. Cuts. Jonah Cuts keeps posting these, and thank you, Jonah, for keeping up to date with this. I want to read to you the numbers, the actual numbers of, if somebody has it, can you please share it? So I know that His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu won by at least 71 or 72%. That is above the required 50% to win an election, a presidential election in Uganda. So His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu actually won the election, but the results were given vice versa or vis-a-vis Museveni's results given to His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's results given to Museveni. So Byabakama, before the illegitimate Museveni thinks about swearing in, you must, as chair of the Electoral Commission, which you know the right thing to do, you must declare the actual results on the DR forms that show that Museveni actually won the election. He cannot swear in. It's against the Constitution for Museveni to swear in without DR forms. Museveni has known to fool Ugandans for over 40 years. 40 years. When he first came, he came as a refugee. For 40 long years, he has played ping pong and moved the goalpost every single time. It is time for us Ugandans to stand up and be strong and say enough is enough. He cannot continue this way. Usually they had DR forms because they doctored results. This time we have the legitimate DR forms in our party, National Unity Platform. We have the original undoctored DR forms that declare His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu as the legitimate winner of the presidential election in 2026, January 15th. So, according to the Constitution of Uganda, a president cannot, or a candidate cannot swear in as a president without DR forms to legitimize his win. In the truth, according to the Constitution, Museveni did not win the elections, cannot swear in because there is no actual results documented anywhere. The actual video or the actual tally that was in the system where Byabakama read from say that His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu won the election. And that's why they don't want to show that video ever again. But that video is in our hands and we have it. We have the live feed of Byabakama swapping His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu's results for Museveni and Museveni's results for His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. So anyway, he cannot swear in. Yes, Gilbert, thank you. His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu won by 71.88%. Over 50%, meaning no matter what Museveni did or could do, he cannot possibly be the winner of the election. He cannot be a president legitimate to swear in. So by virtue of legalities, Museveni is an illegitimate president and should not swear in as a winner of the January 15th, 2026 election. They're gearing up, but it's not allowed. He's not going to be legitimatized because everyone, the whole world is watching Uganda. He's illegitimate. He cannot swear in as president. If he does, it'll be illegal and he cannot be recognized as a president of Uganda. That is how true this is. According to the Constitution, even if Museveni swears in, he's not the legitimate president of Uganda by virtue of DR forms and declaration by Byabakama. Because we have the actual results. They're not a secret. They're not hidden. We're not just making noise. No. There's reason to. There's videos. Byabakama knows for a fact that Museveni did not win the election. End of story. Museveni cannot swear in as president, therefore. Okay? So, besides that, I understand Museveni and his camp are quite upset about me because apparently they found out that the videos that I've been doing have costed them a lot in financial support, or they were expecting an obscene amount of money. 22.7 trillion Uganda shillings was supposed to be given to Museveni, Salim Saleh, Muhoozi, and that family, the Muhoozi camp. So at a meeting at State House a day or two ago, somebody who was supposed to, or the office that was supposed to disburse these funds to them, showed them one of my videos and said, there are a lot of questions about the legitimacy of the presidency of Uganda. There's a lot of mismanagement or human rights violations. There's a lot of corruption, and there's a lot of dehumanization going on by the presidency of the Musevenis. And so whoever was supposed to award them that money, they literally played one of my videos. And in that video, the content of it costed them 22.7 trillion Uganda shillings. And they've discussed me and said that I have become a deadly ballistic missile, according to them, because I speak English and because I speak the truth and I share inside information that they have, because the things that I share are directly fed into organizations like the United Nations. They're shared by parties of interest, humanitarian organizations, Amnesty International, all those organizations that have to do with human rights or international relations somehow. Because of that, I understand Museveni has asked that they should pay attention to me, and he has mainly advised his drunken son not to say a word about me. Not because you know how he goes on social media and starts to say a whole bunch of nonsense. So apparently he is to refrain from talking about me, however upset he might be. And he cannot criticize anything that I say openly. However, they're going to go on to sweet talk my family in Uganda. He's going to go on, and Mao, Honorable Mao has been, he said, oh, I can do that. So Honorable Mao has taken this, has taken the contract to go and speak with people of my family so that they can speak with me and ask me to stop doing what I'm doing because I'm costing them money. Mind you, this money is not a donation to help Ugandans. This is their pocket change that they eventually turn around to use to buy militia, to buy ammunition, to come back around and torture Ugandans, to come back and you know, figure out how to suppress and oppress voices in Uganda, to make sure that Ugandans are totally subdued as a nation. So my people, because they said, one of the reasons actually that that they failed to get that apparently donations that were supposed to go to the Musevenis is that I describe corruption, torture, oppression, and the evil, wicked plans of Museveni. When I do come and say this is what they're discussing, this is what they've said they're going to do, those are actual things that they eventually put to work. And so it has upset them that I've shared that information, and it has costed them tons and tons of money. It has costed Museveni a donation of 22.7 trillion Uganda shillings. The reason why Muhoozi has been attacking the Turkish ambassador recently is because the Turkish ambassador is actually one of the signatories to that fund that they were going to get. It is not clear yet where the funding was supposed to come from, but once I get that information, I'll share that as well. Okay? And that is why the prices of fuel is going up steeply, because they failed to get the other money that they would normally splash or use for their own whatever. The big idea is Museveni is trying to figure out how he can swear in May, this month. This is the month that he wants to swear in as president. And so far, his illegitimacy lingers on. His invitations are falling on deaf ears. Everyone has an excuse not to come to attend. I'm talking dignitaries and presidents of other countries. Obviously, there are presidents who will come because they work together. So, Tanzania will come. Ruto will come. Salva Kiir will come. A few of his dictator friends will come. But other countries that are democratic, that believe in democracy and believe that Museveni is an illegitimate president, and countries that I've heard have been involved with international organizations, obviously somehow met and dealt with His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, are not going to welcome the idea of attending a swearing-in ceremony that is of an illegitimate president. So please share my introduction that Ugandan president is going to swear in or wants to attempt to swear in without any proof of winning an election. None. There's no forms to adjudicate. The Electoral Commission website is down, does not have those results. The results were never gazetted as the normal procedure should be. I mean, I can look for election results of my mayor in this town and find it online. I can particularly say, I want the election results for the mayor race of my area of 1925, and I will find it. The electoral results of January 1st, 15th, 2026 are nowhere to be found in Uganda. Nowhere. Nowhere. The only legitimate result, of Museveni winning, there are no results that show Museveni as the winner except talk. It's all about talking and body pushing. There's no actual results. You know? So, going back to this, Muhoozi was very upset about the cancellation of that big donation and abused Lumbuye and William because he thinks that I was introduced to what I do by Lumbuye and ASP Asimu William. So he feels like because they did not take control, I don't know how they thought they would, of Lumbuye, and they have not been able to take control of Asimu William. By control, I mean abducting them, torturing them, possibly killing them. They have made several other mini-them, like Lady Winnie, like me. So they feel like I am a ballistic missile because everything that I've shared is all over every platform, anywhere that it can be. Therefore, their donors cannot miss information if they wanted to, just to check perspective on what's going on in Uganda. There's a lot that is being said. So they have decided, Museveni has ordered surveillance to be deployed as necessary. There should be funding. They want to find Lumbuye and William. They've always been trying to find Lumbuye. I don't know why they think they can do that. International law or powers cannot make that a possibility. Dictators like him don't have the powers to do that. They can't. They can't extradite anyone just for no reason. And there are international protections that don't allow for them to do the things that they do. The things that the Musevenis do in Uganda is not possible internationally. No. So even if this drunkard son will come out and say this and that or the other, there's no way. First of all, he said something about getting with the Turkish ambassador to try to get Lumbuye, and then immediately he will insult them. You know, that is not how diplomacy works. Even if he thought he had a chance, immediately he starts to do something, he messes it all up right away. So anyways, for me, they decided that they're going to go to my family. Museveni said, that woman is a powerful woman because she's been in families that have been politically present somehow in Uganda and elsewhere, which I do have family in Uganda. My mother is a member of parliament, exiting parliament right now in Pade. Honorable Santa Okot is my mother. She's a member of parliament currently in the exiting parliament. I also have a stepbrother who lives, or a brother who lives in Uganda. And I also come from Payira Kal, which I am a descendant of the Acholi royal family. So I understand they've asked, or Honorable Mao has offered himself to be the one to go and speak to my people, to ask them to ask me to stop doing what I do. Let me tell you this. When I started to do what I do, I did not go to them to seek permission. And therefore, I will not heed to their recommendations just because you have paid them to do what you think they should do to stop me from speaking. If you don't let our people go, if you don't leave our country, if you don't leave Ugandans in peace, if you continue harassing Ugandans, if you don't give His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu his win, if you do not leave Uganda overall and go back to Rwanda, then I will not stop speaking. Because let me tell you who I am. I am people power. I am every foot soldier. I am every political prisoner. I am Waiswa Mufumbiro. I am Olivia Lutaya. I am Yasin Kauma. I am all you have killed already. I am all you're torturing every day. I am every Ugandan. I am the ones you oppress daily. I am National Unity Platform. I am Mama Uganda. I am every youth who has dreams and cannot achieve them under your circumstances. I am one of the children of the ones you have taken their life from this earth. I am the mother who is trying to give birth in Kampala, in a hospital, in Gulu, in Busia, in Mbarara, but cannot. I have to bring my own water to deliver. I have to buy my own gloves to come to the hospital. I have to be that person. I am the one whose shop you broke in Kampala. I am the oppressed Ugandan. I am the one who doesn't have clean water to drink. I am the elite who's trying to drive to work and I don't have enough money to buy fuel to get there. I am the Ugandan youth who still lives with my mother because I can't go and fend for life on my own. I am that person. I am Ugandan. I am everything that you have deprived Ugandans of. I am Nachmuli, who you took their life recently. I am everyone who has gone through everything that has been Museveni. I am the infected with HIV that you just purposely do because you feel like it's time to get Ugandans to go. I am that child that you vaccinated with the wrong medicine. I am that member of parliament who cannot speak the truth because they're so oppressed. I am Katumba Wamala, who is just a body filler because he's Ugandan, he has no powers. I am every UPDF who has no way to exert his job and powers as a military because Sam Rundy's 17-year-old has come and is making all decisions. I am the police who sleep in hats made of banana leaves, who doesn't know how the children will go to school today. I am the military in Somalia who are dying every day like flies because you have M23 to clear them all. I am my grandmothers, my grandfathers in the village who cannot lift their head. I am the children with nodding disease in northern Uganda who don't know where the disease came from. I am the mommy in Kampala whose shop just got shoved down and has nowhere to look for any living for the next day. I am that father who no longer is a father because he can't provide. I am that mother who is left alone with children because the husband had to be killed by Museveni and their people. I am the children of those who Museveni has taken both parents of and have to fend for their life right now as adults to try to live because Museveni has the power to take life every single day. I am that girl who was on the streets the other day and just going about her business and was abducted, taken away, mistreated, harassed. I am Blue Tick, who we don't know where she is right now. I am those children, those youth that I posted a video of, who Muhoozi captured in truckloads and tortured them and flipped them in black bags to their death. I am every Muslim who Museveni thinks they must not exist in Uganda because he doesn't believe being a Muslim is worth being a human being. I am everyone, but more so, I am a born Ugandan. And for whatever you think is worth, I'm here to stay because I am who I am. For all our people in Uganda, for our President, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, we are here. We are going to fight to the end until this Museveni and his cronies leave this country. I am all of you, and I'm here for you. This just upset me so much that I had to do a video today. You think your money will always buy everyone to get them on your side. Well, this mama here, it's not happening. It's not. Because I don't do this for bread. I don't do this for media. I don't do this to show off. I don't do this because I need to please somebody. No. I do this for the right reason, for a nation that's bleeding, for a Uganda that you want to reset and make a Rwandese federal state. We are going to stay Ugandans, and you will not. Museveni, you will not take us. You will not win. They say by the yard it's hard. By an inch is hard. By the yard is hard, but every inch counts. Whatever you do, whatever you can do, please keep doing it. Because we are getting somewhere. Our president is out here working extremely hard. We are being heard in places where you cannot believe. If I can turn down $22.7 trillion coming in donations to these people, believe me, whatever you are doing will make a difference and is making a difference. Okay? So speaking of resetting Uganda, they have a plan, and I brought it. It's right here before me. Honorable Mao, my last word to you is that you're wasting your time. Any of my family members who receives anything from the Museveni people, awards of money or whatever, it is all on you, and you are accountable for whatever you will take from them, because I am not on your side when you do that. I am not on your side or in agreement with you if you agree with Museveni. Take whatever you take at your own risk. I'm not going to stop because Museveni says so. No. Okay? So apparently the files that I've shared have been shared all the way to the UN, to the United Nations, the videos, and that's why they call me a ballistic missile. Well, too bad. Okay? So they're calling me more dangerous than Lumbuye and Asima Wile because of the direct interest of the United Nations in my videos. Moving on. All youths in Uganda. You saw a truckload. I think the Monitor Uganda shared a video, NBS shared a video of several youths that are being captured, or they were in a truck coming off the truck. The reason for that is that Salim Saleh has asked them to vamp, to continue, to make it even, to keep doing it even more, to capture as many more youth as possible, because they believe more and more youth are starting to agree and obviously working harder, staying faithful to the struggle. So you will see, especially in areas where the ghettos are, the support of His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu is, they will be taking youth. There was several trucks, police trucks, that went and raided part of the ghetto and took several young men and labeled them thieves. The reason they're doing that is so that they can stigmatize them, so that they cannot come back and fit in the community after the fact of being called a thief or a robber or whatever the case might be. So that is going to continue. The other thing also is they want to try to depopulate Kampala as much as possible, because Museveni thinks he's going to swear in Kololo, because he's completely fearful that if he does get to the swearing in day, it is likely that something could happen to him on that day. It may not be from Uganda itself, but he's fearful for anything from anywhere getting to him or getting to Muhoozi and his family on that day that they plan to swear in. There will be more houses broken. I know that there was something that came in the media saying that they've stopped breaking homes because they thought that because the rule had to be, the law had to be heard in parliament again, or they had to revise things the way it was happening. And so they've decided that even if that media continues to publish the fact that it is said that they must stop breaking those homes, they've ordered this to continue under the radar so that they'll keep people busy fighting or crying about their troubles instead of focusing on stopping Museveni from swearing in, such as demanding DR forms. So any opportunity you have, remind Byabakama that we need the DR forms for Museveni to be legitimately sworn in. Otherwise, he's illegitimate. Continue sharing the illegitimacy of Museveni being a Ugandan leader in any form. Not president for sure. And none else, no other office. Okay? Stick with that. Stick with demand for the DR forms. Because that's what legitimizes our president, His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. So they've agreed not to bring any other diversion or not to bring any other NRM project, because they believe they're going to try to continue with the PDM to avoid Ugandans from criticizing anything else that is unproductive, because, you know, anything they attempt to do is going to fail. So instead of introducing something else that's going to fail them, first of all, they don't have money. All monies and sources of money have been stifled by the recent results, the struggles, the torture. Basically, the government of Museveni is marred by all manner of atrocities, dehumanization, and violation of human rights. So many nations that usually or normally would just dish out cash to him are folding back and seeing an exiting government. Nobody wants to engage. Nobody wants to give contracts for several years to do this and that with that country until things settle down. So far, Museveni is not in a good place financially as a government. Therefore, he is struggling to see that he's going to make anything that stifles us possible. Anything. Okay? The other thing is there's been a new secret trade order where they're going to be bringing in fake goods, tons of fake goods into Uganda from China on purpose, because they believe those fake goods are easy to make, you know, several trips of, because they expire or they will no longer work, or whatever the case may be. It'll keep traders busy buying, and so they can get more taxes to fund the government. So pay attention to that. I don't even know how to address that, but it will be a lot of spoiled goods available to be bought and exchanged or traded in or stored for a short while, and then the traders will have to go back and get some more items. Okay, so that's about me and some of their plans. Okay, don't worry about me. I'm going to create a second page. I understand the Kasukus have been asked. You remember the youth group that went to State House to get 5 billion? The media group or social media groups that are supposed to be given 5 billion. Kasuku was the head. Something about he lost his grandmother and Janet should be his mother. Something like, you remember that visit. So they've been given the contract or the job to try to stifle me, to report my pages as much as possible so that they're taken down by Facebook or whatever social media accounts I have. So I'm going to be busy. If you see me attach or have a different account, please follow and share right away, because that will maintain continuance so that I can always come live and you can find me. I will share those new pages as soon as I can, once I create them, so that we can continue and not cut off communication. So 2 people, Museveni, a couple of Janet's cousin and a nephew have been taken into custody or abducted like he does, apparently they do it in-house too. Because of the continuous leak of message or information to us, Muhoozi, Salim Saleh, and Museveni have captured two of Janet's cousins, one cousin actually and one nephew, and they've taken them to an unknown place, and they've been arrested because of the messages or information that keeps leaking from State House. Apparently, they're also not trusting of themselves. They feel like somebody amongst them is letting this information out. Okay? So the security alerts that we bring are causing a lot of headache. They're wondering who is leaking the information, and Salim Saleh is very upset about that. So demolition of houses and kiosks is going to continue under the radar, despite it being said that it's not going to continue on the media. So just know that it doesn't mean anything, even if they said that. Okay? And they said it should only get worse after Museveni swears in. Okay? But they should continue in places where to keep people uncertain of where they're going to continue with breaking these buildings in areas where they don't know if the people support the NRM or not. So those will not cease, but they will cease to do in some areas. However, in the areas like in the ghettos where people support His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu a lot, this is going to persist and continue. All military generals, majors and brigadiers, captains, etc., they are on target by Muhoozi because they say that Muhoozi says that they despise him and they call him Kaboy. This Kaboy, this Kaboy, this Kaboy. So all the old generals, the majors, the brigadiers and captains, Muhoozi is going to take them down one by one. The first two, Elwelu and Katumba Wamala. A meeting was confirmed and they resolved that by June there will be no more. Katumba Wamala and Elwelu. They believe those two are planning to overthrow Museveni, and that's said by Muhoozi because they disrespect him and they keep calling him Kaboy. 15 big military-ranked officers have been arrested and they're in different state houses. In Kasenyi in particular, there are 7 of them. So 15 high-ranking officers have been arrested by the Muhoozi people because he feels like they despise him. And so 7 of them are in Kasenyi and the rest are in different safe houses. Muhoozi is fearful that definitely after the circumstances surrounding Museveni and disappearing or whatever, or him taking over, these people will not support him. Because right now those generals are saying they don't want to work under Muhoozi. They don't. They feel like they have suffered or they have had his father. Enough of that. They don't want to have him also come and continue to take them on. So 15 of them have been arrested. Elwelu and Katumba Wamala are on target by Muhoozi to get eliminated before June or by June. Okay? These guys are evil. They are. So I have a long list of events that I'd like to name or list them for you regarding what they plan to do between 2026 and 2030 or 31. These Rwandese government, Rwandese people, the Muhoozi, Salim Saleh, when I mention those names, those are the people who are behind this heavily. Muhoozi, Salim Saleh, Museveni. First of all, if Museveni swears in, he plans on just disappearing because somehow they're going to make way to rig Muhoozi into vice presidency. And then after that, when his father is incapable, when his father signs off and says, I'm incapable now to be president, or Muhoozi automatically becomes the president of Uganda. That is how they want to set things for themselves. If we get to that point. Okay? So, Muhoozi, Salim Saleh, Museveni, and other Rwandese mafias have signed a list of 6,854 Ugandans to be assassinated in 4 years. So, the reason why I say 4 years is because they feel that when they take over the government in May, they have just 5 years to reset Uganda for Muhoozi's pace, to run or to take on Uganda as a federation of Rwanda. After Museveni swears in, he thinks, or they plan, that Uganda should no longer be Uganda for Ugandans. Uganda to them will be a federation of Rwanda. And they're planning a major reset of Uganda in these ways. There's going to be a silent genocide that will continue for the whole period of the 5 years of Museveni after he swears in. If he does and when he swears in, they plan to reset Uganda like a new phone, like an old phone. I recently lost my phone and I had to get my phone stopped working and I had to get a new phone. I talk about a phone a lot because we all use phones, okay? So I had to reset to set up my cell phone. But before I could turn the other one in, because I had insurance, I had to give back my old phone, which had a problem, and get a new phone. What I had to do was transfer data from the old phone to the new phone, iPhone, Apple to Apple, and then reset the other phone to default setting. Just turn it off, wipe everything off, and make sure that that phone can be used by somebody else, or my data doesn't get to somebody else. The way that I cleaned out my phone is how they want to clean out Uganda. All native Ugandans, these people want to clear all generations of Ugandans this coming 2026 to 2035 or 30, when and if Museveni swears in. So demand these DR forms, okay? I'm going to read to you the list. Resetting Uganda 2025 to 2030 to become a Rwandese federal state government. This is a silent genocide planned by Museveni, Salim Saleh, Muhoozi, and other Rwandese mafias. The list contains 6,854 Ugandans to be assassinated in 4 years. 2026 to 2031. It's a genocide of Ugandans. So please share. It's a genocide of Ugandans, and it should be known and shared everywhere. Okay? Here are the categories. Influencers on social media living in Uganda, especially because for those living abroad, it is hard for them to curb, but they want to deal with the ones living in Uganda who do social media influencers. This could likely and possibly include the Kasukus, who think that they are in a safe space because they went to see Museveni and got a promise of 5 billion Uganda shillings. All influencers of the social media. Celebrities in arts and sports. The Kiprotici's who keep going to win for Uganda, bring back the medal on all kinds of sports. They are on target for elimination. Celebrities in art, meaning music, performance, performing arts, all those types of places, those ones have to go. Prominent journalists, because you have seen a lot and you have a lot to share. You know of the journalist who was shot, short range just a few weeks ago because he wrote a book saying Museveni's exit. The retired New Vision journalist who was killed in his home just recently. That type of elimination is going to continue and even get worse. All retirees, all current, all future are all going to be on target. The next one, NRM old cadres regime. The old NRMs, whether you're retired from politics, still active politics, as long as you're registered as NRM. When you go to places like Chankwanzi, they push a lot of what they call patriotism, which is a lot of dirt and filth about how to go and hurt other people, other Ugandans who are not NRM. Because you know so much, they don't want you to exist. Cows, district LC5s, chairmans, those types of people who take on a lot of government projects and do a lot of things, you do all crazy things when it comes to elections. You go and you are the ones stealing elections, you're the ones swindling money, you're the ones pushing bad things on people. You're the ones pushing fake vaccines on children and all that. You, cows and LC5 chairman, you're also on the list. District, municipal HRs, human resources, all those who have been working in, because they feel like you are a professional type that can become something, and you know of governments pushing this candidate, the other candidate, hire this one, don't hire this one. All those facts you know of, and it's time to reset and take you out of the picture. Top UPDF ranked officers. UPDF, you are already on the list. I don't know how many times they take UPDF soldiers to Congo and put them on the front line and clear them completely in pretense of actual war going on between the UPDF and M23. M23 are Museveni's army. Museveni and Kagame own M23. In fact, the brother of Bujingo, the pastor, is the leader of M23. So when Ugandan soldiers, UPDF, were sent to go and fight M23, they literally were fighting a losing battle, because Museveni says go and attack them. After they're drunk, they provide them with Rwandese women and alcohol, and the M23s show up and finish all of them. Several Ugandans who have gone to battle in Congo have not returned and will never return. They bury them in mass graves. You know, some of them they don't care. I told you guys a story about when Museveni first came to power, and there was he thought about how to clear the strongholds in the military of Uganda. I think it was NRA or something. What Museveni decided to do was to send a huge battalion of Ugandan military into Congo and say that there's a war that's, you know, there's a group of people that's attacking people in Congo and this, that, and the other. And Kayiira was one of them. Many of you know how popular Mr. Kayiira was. So Museveni sends them out there, maybe hundreds of them. And they are obviously, you know, pitching camp, doing things that they're supposed to do as military people, getting set and all that. And so Museveni orders that there's going to be some sort of holiday, that they're taking time off work from being on the front line, so they need to relax and enjoy themselves, something like a party. They send them all kinds of food and drink and, you know, a lot of their Rwandese assets, the women and stuff. So they send them there, and while these people partied like crazy, you know, they're having fun, they're drinking and all this, Museveni then sends Rwandese soldiers to go and obliterate the whole battalion that was sent out there. So then the leader, because those leaders apparently are not supposed to engage with the junior staff, some of them stayed sober. And so they called Museveni and said, President, we're being attacked. Commander-in-Chief, we're being attacked. What do we do? Museveni said, stand down. Don't do anything. Just stand down, hold off, don't fire back. That whole group was cleared. In one of the efforts for Museveni to clear the military of Uganda and accentuate his Rwandese military and occupation, that is what happened to those people. Military, Ugandan-born military. Who came into power with Museveni? Museveni wanted them out of the picture so he can regenerate and regroup and make his own military. So anyway, back to the list. So all top UPDF ranked officers, all military personnel who worked in top offices, military personnel. So you may even be one who didn't go to war, but as long as you were in the office of the military at the time, you're on the list. DPCs, RPCs who are native Ugandans. You must know that this is really true, because some of these positions I've never heard of, or I don't know of them. I'm reading as it came from our sources. All prisons heads from 1995 to 2015. Apparently those are the times that they hyped up their atrocities and trumped up charges and killings and prisons and all that. So because these people have a lot of information, like political prisoners who are in jail right now, you know, those types of things that Museveni has been doing crookedly, all prisons heads know about them. So it is time, they have a shazers. It is time for them to also feel the heat. KCCA leadership in top offices from 2018 to 2005. There is a secret there. The people who worked at those times, there are certain things that they know that the government did, and they want to get rid of them. The judiciary, all members involved in corruption, political prisoners, state missions, like land cases, okay? People who worked in the justice system, the judiciary, all members involved in corruption. Like I said, Museveni's attorney, who is his son-in-law, is the top official of all legal happenings in Uganda. Chiriowa Chiwanuka, the Attorney General, is a partner in the law firm where Museveni's attorney, who doubles as his son-in-law, practice law and make every legal decision on every case in Uganda. So when you see prominent business people going through certain legal processes and can't come out of anything because they're just going in circles, it is a planned event because they're planning to keep them there so that Museveni and his people take over their money, their wealth. When you see political prisoners like the Waiswa Mufumbiro and them, speaking of which, he's held for military drilling. But I just saw a school in Mbarara, a high school in Mbarara, where the girls are doing military drills. Students, not just girls, students in the school are performing military drills. Then you wonder why new political prisoners are still in prison when Museveni himself is training young girls and boys how to put together a gun and undo a gun and do drills. What is the difference between that and what Museveni is training young children doing? Why are new prisoners in prison, but Museveni's government in uniform, they are training young girls and boys in a high school wearing their school uniform, undoing guns and assembling guns back and doing military drills on a field? Why are new prisoners, why is Waiswa Mufumbiro in prison? Why? He was not even in the country on the said event that they're claiming is the reason he's being held in prison. Several new Machete has been in prison for over 5 years now, maybe more than 5. Machete is there's no proof, but is blamed for just supporting Noop. Until to this day, they don't have state evidence to rule on what Machete has actually done. He has not done anything. Last time they went to Chankwanzi, even non-military, in fact, opposition like Honorable Mao was wearing army uniform, Ugandan army uniform. All of the people in Chankwanzi, all NRM cadres, all MPs were wearing military attire. But you will find that people who are wearing red for many years now, since His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu came to power, have been shot, killed in broad daylight just because they're wearing red. Just red. Red. The hat that they've worn, the red hat that is worn for National Unity Platform, for a long time they claimed that's military attire. But when the NRM MPs went to Chankwanzi, all of them were clad in military wear. None of them has been arrested. Do you see the double standard? This is why Museveni must be stopped. Because of things like that. We cannot continue as a country with such double standard. But in any case, Museveni did not win the election on January 15, 2026. Moving on the list. So I stopped at all judiciary, all members in the judiciary who are involved in corruption, political prisoners, and state missions like land cases. You know that a lot of judges who are legitimate Ugandans are forced to make judgment because the judgment is passed down by State House. It is not because it's the right ruling. It's because they are handed down the judgment. Take case, for example, when Waiswa Mufumbiro requested bail for to go and visit his wife. You remember the denial. A local judge, a Ugandan national judge, denied him permission to go to visit and bury his wife, to say goodbye to his dead wife. Just being in prison for no reason is painful enough. Imagine you haven't done anything, you're being held in prison, and you can't say goodbye to the love of your life. What type of people are they breeding? Hence the fact they now have this silent genocide planned to clear people like those, because they know our hearts are stone cold now and the reaction is going to be worse. They are preparing for it in this reset that I'm reading to you. The next are Umeme workers who know the true secrets about Umeme. You know that Muhoozi owns or is one of the chairmen of Umeme. You know that a lot of their factories, their companies do not pay for power. People like the Katikiros or NRMs do not pay for power. Several people don't pay for power, but local Ugandans are double charged for power, despite all the load shedding that happens day and night. A lot of electricity from Uganda is exported to Rwanda. In fact, in Rwanda, they don't lose power. But in Uganda, where the source, where the generated power is, we don't have power as a nation most of the time. Immigration workers from 2016, from 2000 to 2016, those are going to be eliminated because they probably know something that happened around that time, which they will know. And when I get more information, I'll let you know. UPDF officers who have been going on missions in and out. People like the late Lokech who passed. He knew a lot. Obviously, they couldn't keep him around. So people like those are going to be eliminated as well. Okay? Some of you went to work in Congo. Some of you were part of major lootings. Some of you know the details about M23. Some of you, like in northern Uganda, I know some of them who have led the Balalo right into land of people, mass killings. You know, we don't know where nodding disease comes from, but it's very likely that it's perpetrated by the Museveni government because nodding disease in Acholi showed up after the Musevenis came to power. All members of parliament, I mean all of them, between 2001 and 2015. All members of parliament between 2001 and 2015 will all be eliminated. All rich tycoons and villages who have already been profiled by moneylenders. I told you in my previous video that all moneylenders, most of them are Rwandese. They are given money from State House to come and profile who's who, how much do they own, who's the heir, who is so-and-so, how are they related. One by one, people will start to disappear because they have everybody profiled already. All primary owners of land titles. So let's say there is, you know, grandfather who owns 100, let's say a square mile of land, and because he's getting older or whatever, the son now holds power to that land. That son is at risk for elimination because they want to make sure that they can take that land title from them without any question. All state operatives who they have been using, you know, people like what is this guy called? The dam leaders groups. Those types of people will also be eliminated because they've been used a lot to torture opponents and to raid the ghettos, to destroy His Excellency Chagula, all the offices. Basically, people who have been helping Museveni perform all the human rights violations in Uganda. All those are on target for elimination. All state operatives who they have been using. Oh, I finished that one. And then hospitals. Eliminate all individuals above 60 years old. So people over 60. For your packages are in hospitals because you have ailments. You know, you go for checkup for, you know, whether you do a yearly checkup or you have a flare of something, diabetes, whatever, you go to the hospital. The likelihood of coming back when you're over 60, you know, they already have set that measure for you. All Ugandans who demand payments from the government or compensation, contractors who supplied food and other services, those who demand a lot of money, the government is not willing to pay you back. So the way they're going to pay you back is by eliminating you so that you don't ask for it again. Okay? I have more that I'd like to share, but let me finish that list and then I'll come back with the other one later. This one has to do with the Civil Aviation Authority in Uganda, which I can't start on right now because it's quite long and I don't want to bore everyone. But there is a lot to share at Entebbe Airport, the Civil Aviation Authority in Uganda, in reference to Sam Kutesa at the airport, the ladies working at the airport and all that. So let me finish the list and I can do that part another time. I'll be back again maybe tomorrow. I'll try to be here tomorrow. All active. So the next one on the list, I'm still talking about the reset of Ugandans of Uganda to make it a Rwandese federal state by the Museveni government after they think they'll swear in, and after after they swear in. Okay, this is what they plan to do to reset Uganda between 2026 and 2030 or 31. All active children, sons and daughters of government workers, officials, veterans of retired government workers from all ministries. So if you are a Ugandan national and your father used to be so-and-so and served somehow in the government of Uganda, social services, civil services, government work, you are at risk and you are on this list. Cattle traders, remember they want monopoly over trade in beef or cows or milk or dairy. All those things they want to have monopoly because they believe after stealing all Ugandans' cattle, they are the only ones who are supposed to do cattle trade in Uganda. So it's one of their targets to eliminate those who are performing cattle trade. Okay, they want to be the only ones controlling the market of cattle and all that stuff. Village chairman between 1999 and 2015, Museveni is a very strategic human being. He has worked directly with local council people, LC chairman, local in the village. That is how Museveni knows who does what at village level. So, because he has used them and worked with them for so long, it is time they are going to eliminate, and they're on the list from 1999 to 2015. Museveni has been working directly with these people. It is no wonder they have not had elections for these LC people, because he doesn't want their position changed. Since when did you last hear of an election of LC offices in your local village? It has always been the same person, because he doesn't want to lose an ally or his connection to whoever he works with down there. That is why those people from nowhere, the chairman will own a lot of assets. The chairman will own certain things that you'll be surprised. What kind of LC makes that kind of money and when? It is because those orders and those funds come directly from State House. Museveni is completely wired and connected to the local level. I plan on coming back or bringing back Akabano directly. I want to start over on the Akabano and their background. That is the group that highlights the Rwandese community in Uganda. It is their unit. It is their organization. It is how they've been able to cast a web throughout Uganda and in every little inch and space. The group is called Akabano. They are international. Some of them live out here in the United States. Okay, so I will bring back Akabano, and we'll share that information fresh. Okay, the next group of people that he's going to target are Electoral Commission workers. I just spoke about how the results were intentionally or purposely misread. The reason why now Museveni wants to eliminate all Electoral Commission workers, I am talking those who passed on the DR forms, those who fed the results, those who have been working, including the Abakama, who have been working in Electoral Commission every single time elections are happening. It is time Museveni thinks you guys have to go, because you're going to get him caught. Any one of you that will speak will share way too much information or facts, which will cost him his life or his government. So all Electoral Commission workers at district level, parish level, including workers inside the Electoral Commission, they have so many facts about rigging elections that Museveni does not want to be repeated. So if you work for the Uganda Electoral Commission, it is time to run, because yours is quite fresh. And he suspects that some of you leaked the results that we have now, the true results that were captured on the video with a timestamp of Byabakama reading the numbers and substituting between Museveni and His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. So run before you're caught. Okay. The next one is all government officials who the public noticed being involved in corruption, mostly NRM members. They fear that they can testify that they didn't take money that was taken by Museveni himself. So remember the time when there was a woman who said that she bought a building, I think UBC building, and she was questioned by how she found that money or how she can afford such a building. And because she had no answers, she said she reared goats and made that much money to buy a whole commercial building in the heart of Kampala. I mean, she spent billions of shillings. Well, that woman eventually spoke and said that that was not her money. That money was the Museveni's family's money, and therefore that building was not hers personally. So people like her are the target of this type of this category. So if you've been used to go and steal on behalf of the Museveni family, okay, to put your name, to sign your name, people like Ham Chigundu, you know, there's no way he could possibly have that much money. Sudhir Ruparelia, you know, he owns all the assets on behalf as a proxy to the first family, same as Ham Chigundu and a few others. Those are on target under this category. All opposition members surviving with testimonies of torture, wound, shot by bullets, and those with cuts of tortures with scars, they fear that they may be called to testify at the ICC. Therefore, they are on target in this category because Museveni fears that any of them could be called to testify. He doesn't know that their testimonies are already at ICC. He doesn't know that, Museveni doesn't know that our videos are already at ICC. Museveni doesn't know that we have enough, more than enough testimony already rolled in and filed at ICC that we don't need any new testimony to change anything. Everything we have is enough to address and incriminate him. Enough. Okay. All right. I think that is the end of my video today. I know it's long, but I appreciate you for sticking out through it all. I wanted to just make sure that I kind of got into a place where I'm not too far behind. And now I think I'm fairly somewhere. I want to speak to hope. I say, when you see the dictator feeling like this and acting like this and wanting to shut everyone down, you know that we're doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing by speaking up. And Museveni or his cronies cannot deter me from speaking. He can't stop me. He's going to try to speak to my people. I know he will. I already told you my mother. Her name is Honorable Santa Okot. She is in the current outgoing parliament. And my brother is Okot Moses Latim, Joseph. Anything happens to them, you know that it is Museveni and his people. In fact, my mother is a United States citizen. So that makes it even worse if he attempts anything at all. I come from a family that is not just, and I don't want to demean any family, any Ugandan. I just want to say that Museveni, if you mess with mine, I think you'll be in trouble somehow. You have messed with too many Ugandans, and it's time to fight back, and we're not backing down. Like I said, I am each and every one of the Ugandans that you have done something to, whether they felt it or not. And some of you still feel like you will survive Museveni. But it's only a matter of time, because Uganda is not safe until we are all safe. We're all safe. You're temporarily an elite. You can feel like you have survived or you're above Museveni's grasp. But any time, according to this list, he's going to get to you. You're one of those. So you can brag for a short time, but it's coming to you. Like fuel. Fuel right now affects most elites who have to go to work. How do you get to work if you don't have fuel? Ask Museveni. Or join the struggle. Okay? So I won't back down. Don't let that even cross your mind. He can't stop me. And my family members who may take from Museveni, take it at your own risk. And don't blame me if you don't produce results for taking their money. Because you will not produce results. I thank you all so much. I love you and leave you. I'll go back to my kiddos now. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great rest of your weekend. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.